My name is Meg Walsh, and I'm a Solutions Engineer and Technical Account Executive at Esri Ireland. Today, I'm going to show you market intelligence workflows in Esri's cloud-based Business Analyst web app tool. Business Analyst is the go-to market data and business analytics tool for commercial organizations. The tool can be accessed on your desktop, web browser, and via a mobile app. We see it most commonly used for location-based planning, site selection, customer segmentation, and report and infographic creation. Business Analyst is part of the ArcGIS platform built for analysts and commercial organizations to better understand the markets they sell in and perform spatial analysis to get the best picture of where to build and expand. The Business Analyst suite provides tools for powerful analytics, area planning, data enrichment and reporting, and infographic creation and sharing. You can use automated workflows for territory design, location allocation, and market penetration. This aids in locating underperforming sites and predicting key performance indicators for proposed new locations. Understand the demographics around each of your sites by creating drive time trade areas, radius rings, or walk time trade areas. With over 150 different data variables for Ireland and the UK already built into the platform, it's easy to use this data in your analysis, then either create or run pre-configured reports. You can also create custom-styled infographics that can be shared statically as an image or dynamically with the new product releases, enabling infographics to be shared in ArcGIS dashboards along with story maps. With access to the over 150 market and demographic data variables, it's simple to use these to base your analysis on or to complement your own data in Business Analyst. These are just a few of the variables included in Business Analyst's own data browser. So let's say you wanted to decide where to place a new low-cost food joint. You might want to include data on the surrounding population's age, income, and annual food and beverage spend. Now, I'm going to jump into Business Analyst Web for the demonstration portion of this video. You can see here I'm in the web app version of Business Analyst. Similarly to ArcGIS Online, I'm going to have the ability to go ahead and change my base map. For example, if I'd like to switch over to imagery, have the ability to search by an address or location. This could be a postcode or an air code as well. And I can zoom in and out, pan, etc. A few tabs to note here. When you first open Business Analyst Web, you'll start on the home page where you can create a new project or workspace. You can see here, I'm in the Map tab, and I can also navigate to the Reports tab to create and run infographics and reports. I'm going to start with showing some of the different functionality within Business Analyst Web. And I'll navigate to create maps and begin with the Smart Map search. Wanted to also note here that for each of the tools and kind of analysis capabilities within Business Analyst Web, you'll see you have the option to watch a video, so you can go ahead and learn at your own pace. With the Smart Map search, I'm able to go ahead into my data browser and select up to 5 variables that I'd like to use to qualify areas in and out on the map. So to start, I'll go ahead and add in population. I'll look at income, and I'll choose a spending variable as well. See, we have quite a few categories here, so I'll look at clothing expenditures and we'll pull them in as an index to see if they're above or below the national average. You can go ahead and zoom in to a specific area or region. And you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to have these sliders pop up. So what I can do is I can adjust my values, and I'll see areas are now qualified in or out based on how I've adjusted my sliders. With these areas that are now qualified in, I can go ahead and save this as a web layer, or I can export the details to Excel. So it's a really quick way to understand a new market on the fly. I'll go ahead and clear my map. Now I'm going to show a few different ways to define areas, and from here, enrich them with data to run infographics and reports. We have three options when it comes to area definition in Business Analyst Web. We can either select a specific point, then add radius rings, a drive time, or a walk time around it, which I'll show in just a moment. You also have the ability to select a specific geography if you have that layer added to the map. Or you can go ahead and free-handedly draw a polygon on the map. But I'll start with the find a location. And I can do it quite simply by clicking the pin here and dragging and dropping to wherever I'd like to see. What I can do from here is create a site, and I can either again use those radius rings, run a drive time, or run a walk time. With my drive time, I have a few options here. I can go ahead and switch to either rural, driving, or trucking time. I can decide if I want my drive time to be based on driving away from or toward my facility. And I can also decide whether or not I want to use live traffic or have it based on a historical average. If I go ahead and hit apply, you'll see we now have our drive times for the 5, 10, and 15 minutes. From here, I can either generate an infographic or a report. When I generate a report, I can either export this to a PDF or to Excel. So I'll show an example of one I've created here for another site. This is just the kind of generic out-of-the-box Ireland summary report that comes pre-configured in any installation of Business Analyst Web. So you can see it's quite enriched with all of the market spending data, along with demographics up here at the top. But you can go ahead and customize this to just include the data that you need. I'll go back here and clear my map. From here, I'm going to be going through how to run a suitability analysis, which is going to help to find the most opportune location based on a set of criteria. To do this, I've already added a couple layers to the map, and you can add data to the map in Business Analyst, either as a web layer or web map, or you can go ahead and import a file, either an Excel spreadsheet or a shapefile directly. So I've added a few that I'm going to use for the analysis here. I'm going to start with a layer of Aldi, Lidl, and Tesco locations. You can see my base map has changed, and this is because I've added this as a web map layer. And then I'm also going to add in my proposed property locations. You can see there are these 4 little orange dots here, and I brought them in through an Excel spreadsheet and created a layer here. So now I'm ready to go up to Run Analysis and then select Suitability Analysis. I'm going to start with the features on the map. And I'm going to be basing this off of my proposed property location layer. What's going to happen next is I have the ability to set up the layer. So you can see my 4 sites here, my proposed property locations. And I now have the option to either look at a walk time, a radius, or a drive time. I'm going to look at a 1 kilometer radius around each and go ahead and create my sites. Now I have the ability to add criteria for my analysis, and I have 3 options here. I can go back to the data browser that I used in the Smart Map search, and use data already within the platform. I can select attributes from the site themselves, for example, the number of parking spots or the square footage of the site. Or I can go ahead and add in a point layer. So I'm going to be adding that grocery store layer as my competitor layer. But I'll start by adding data here. So let's say I want to start by looking at food and beverage spend. So I'll go ahead and add that as an index. I'll also pull in population and income and hit apply. So you can see based on this criteria, it's already ranked my sites and it's given them essentially a suitability score that you can see here and the weighted score for each variable. But I'll go ahead and add some criteria. So let's add in that competitor layer. So the suitability analysis will update on the fly, which is great anytime you add or decide to remove a particular variable. I'm going to make sure it has my weighting correct, and it does. It has it here as an inverse. We could also have this as a positive influence on the analysis. If, for example, we knew that our grocery store tended to thrive near a particular competitor or maybe by a particular coffee shop chain. We could also set a threshold if we know that it tends to thrive near 5 grocery stores or 2 particular range here. We have the ability now to go in and adjust the weighting of each variable. So if I want food and beverage to be weighted at a higher percentage, I can do that. I can lock that in, and then I can adjust the weighting for my other variables. Again, with my analysis updating below. From here, I have a couple of different options of what I want to do with my results. I can save my criteria so that it doesn't need to be reset up every time an analysis is run. I can export my results to Excel as a spreadsheet, or I can go ahead and export them to a feature layer that I can open in ArcGIS online. So now that I've run my analysis and I've discovered that, I believe it looks like here, site D is the best proposed location, I might want to run an infographic to get a fuller picture of the area. So here, I've run a community profile infographic for Ireland, and this is just one type of infographic or one style of infographic that you can run. Of course, you always have the option to go ahead and adjust things like colors, styles, logos, etc. You can see here the infographic is dynamic, so when I hover over different sections, I get more information. I can go ahead and export the infographic either as a PDF or an image, or again as that dynamic HTML. That way, I can pull my infographic in either a dashboard or a story map. Additionally, I can go ahead and print the infographic directly from the web browser. To wrap things up, I've shown that with Business Analyst web app, you can work with your own data by bringing in store locations on a spreadsheet, a shapefile, or any other web layer online. You can perform a smart map search to qualify regions in and out based on criteria that you can adjust on the fly. You can define a trade area with adjustable drive and walk times or radius rings. You can enrich these with data and then run a custom report to better understand the site. You can run a suitability analysis to find the most opportune new locations based on a set of criteria that you decide and can change. Finally, you can create and export an infographic for your most suitable site or sites, rich with market data and demographics found right within the platform. For more information on Esri's Business Analyst product, feel free to check out the product page on our website or stay updated on the ArcGIS blog for news and product updates. Thanks.